The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Lord, be on my mind, be on my lips, and in my heart. Some Sadducees, those who deny that there is a resurrection, came forward and put this question to Jesus, saying, "Teacher, Moses wrote for us, if someone's brother dies, leaving a wife but no child, his brother must take the wife and raise up descendants for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers, and the first married a woman but died childless. Then the second and the third married her, and likewise all the 7 died childless. Finally the woman also died. Now at the resurrection, whose wife will that woman be? For all 7 had been married to her." And Jesus said to them, "The children of this age marry and remarry, but those who are deemed worthy to attain to the coming age and to the resurrection of the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. They can no longer die, for they are like angels, and they are the children of God, because they are the ones who will rise. That the dead will rise, even Moses made known in the passage about the bush, when he called out, 'Lord, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.' He is not God of the dead, but of the living, for to him all are alive." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I feel like that first reading is a little harsh. Do you find that first reading hard? There's actually parts of that reading they left out because it was really hard. But the brothers were being tortured for breaking the laws. And it starts out for eating pork. You know, my modern mind reads that first reading and says, just eat the pork. But that's not the right response, but that's the way our mind thinks, right? What's going on in that first reading is part of a larger persecution of the Jewish people a couple hundred years before Jesus, when they're being forced to give up their faith. And so if it isn't the pork, then it'll be the next thing. So they take a stand somewhere. But the point of the reading is that they so believe in God, they so believe in the resurrection of the dead, that they're willing to die even for that. And that's testimony of the martyrs throughout the ages. It has always been a powerful testimony. And the first reading talks about that we're dying for the laws of our God, and I like to talk about this too. You know, God didn't die to make us follow laws. God's not this control freak that wants us to follow laws. Everything we're taught in our faith has a purpose. And the purpose is to lead us to something that's beyond words. Matthew Kelly, Dynamic Catholic, talks about our faith is like a treasure map. Have you heard this? And the treasure map has value, but it's not really what it's all about. The treasure map is there to lead us to the treasure. Our faith, the laws, the commands, the traditions that we do are meant to lead us to the treasure, and the treasure is Jesus Christ, and to encounter him in a life-changing encounter of God's love. Second reading talks about that. St. Paul prays that we may encounter God's love and be led to that. That's really the encounter that changes us. That's the encounter then that helps us recognize that whatever we're living for, there's more yet to come, and that this life has a perspective, but it's not the end, because there's something greater. And until we live for something that's beyond this world, beyond this life, we're going to not be able to live fully, because we'll be afraid of death. We'll be afraid of persecution. We'll be afraid of losing what we have. And in our effort to cling to the material things or our relationships or whatever it is, we'll lose them. But if we know that love of God and then in that love of others lasts forever, it frees us to do the right, to live boldly in this life, to not be afraid of things that might threaten to hold us back, to not be who we are. Things like death or sickness or possible loss of a job or a loved one. We're called to boldly stand like those martyrs, knowing that there is a resurrection from the dead. That's what the gospel's talking about. It's a debate. Is there resurrection from the dead? And it's interesting to know that this passage comes late in the gospel, just after Jesus entered Jerusalem triumphantly on the donkey, about to be crucified. And so, in a way, the argument foreshadows the reality. And it starts out with the Sadducees. You know, many people don't know who the Sadducees are. I need to explain this to you. You see, the Sadducees, they're the ones that deny the resurrection. Well, they're sad, you see. But it was a Jewish high upper class that ministered to the temple and helped the priests. And they did not believe in the resurrection. And so Jesus argues with them, and his argument is convincing, but does it prove it? Really doesn't, does it? And so it goes in the world today. We foolishly try to argue the things of God using human logic. And human logic doesn't hold up when we're talking about things eternal. But yet at the same time, God is not contradictory to reason. And so we can have our debates, and there are many good debates. You know, science versus religion. And most people will agree that the debate, although it's not conclusive, it's more likely that there is a God. The chances for things to have occurred the way they are, with all the coefficients and the gravitational pull and the electronic nuclear energies and the temperatures and the distance from the sun, the probability of all those things happening to promote life on Earth, very small. But if there's a creator, it all makes a lot of sense. And the arguments go on, and then there's even miracles. Throughout the ages, our miracle of Our Lady of Guadalupe, miracles, I've met at least 5 or 6 people who have died, claim they've gone to heaven or hell, and come back and talked about it. I believe some of them are very real. The evidence is out there, and there's a lot of evidence like that. But to the one who believes, they say, hey, that's proof. To the one who doesn't believe, they find a reason to not believe. So here is what I suggest to all those who are still searching. Jesus himself reveals himself to us to prove that there is a resurrection. And that really is what's happening here at the Mass. God is God of the living. Jesus died on Calvary, but he rose, and the tomb was empty. And every Mass is a representation, one time for all, of his life, death, and resurrection. He is truly alive and inviting us to take that leap of faith to encounter him in the things we do, this sacrament, in our prayer. And so, does the resurrection exist? If it does, it changes our world. It frees us to live completely. Allow God to show you the truth of the resurrection. Ask him.